Leaders, community members, and LA Mayor Karen Bass are calling to end the immigration raids.
Yeah, they say they are reckless and discriminatory. Joining us now is District 5 LA City Councilwoman Katy Yaroslavsky. Thank you so much for being with us this morning, Councilwoman.
Thanks so much for having me for this really important conversation about what's happening across all of our neighborhoods.
Yeah, it is important. It's impacting so many people. So tell us what motivated you to join this movement.
Look, undocumented immigrants are some of the most vulnerable people in Los Angeles, and their constitutional rights are being violated right now by the federal government in clear contravention to what the Ninth Circuit has said, which is the Ninth Circuit just upheld a temporary restraining order. City of LA went to court and got the federal government to stop doing what they're doing. But despite that federal court order that was upheld by the Ninth Circuit, we have masked, unidentified folks coming out and basically taking people in broad daylight. There's no reasonable suspicion. They're targeting people because of the color of their skin. It's happening with reckless abandon across our region, and it's having real consequences on families who are being torn apart. People are afraid to send their kids to school. People aren't going to work because they're scared. They're not going to church. They're not engaging in their daily lives because the federal government is doing something that they've been told now more than once you have to stop doing. It's clearly unconstitutional.
That's, we've been talking about this for some time now, since July, when the federal government came in as well with these raids. Can you talk about what you're seeing specifically in your area that's happening and what you're hearing from constituents?
Yeah, so just last week, federal agents raided a car wash in the middle of the day and detained 4 people. They didn't appear to have warrants for any of these people. They just came in to places where they think undocumented folks might be working or shopping or going about their day, and just took them away. And we have lots of other instances that we've heard of from constituents and people who work in Council District 5 on the west side of similar things, being approached in broad daylight and asked to show documentation simply because of the color of their skin. That is unconstitutional. Our Constitution protects us from this exact sort of behavior. It's what separates us from places like Russia and other places where people where people aren't safe from their own government. And so it's really it's unacceptable. It's scary, and it violates the law.
Yeah, and it's caused so much fear and impacted these communities so much. We're talking about the first day of school for more students today. Of course, there's fears that many kids won't be going to school because of these raids. There's also so many businesses that are being impacted by this, and I'm sure you're seeing those impacts in many areas.
We are. Lots and lots of people aren't going to work. We're hearing from employers that they're having a hard time running their businesses. I sit on the Metro board. We're seeing millions of fewer rides every month because people don't feel safe taking public transit. This is having a huge impact on our regional economy. And like you said, it's also scaring parents away from letting their kids go to school, which is just unacceptable. We saw the same thing at the end of the last school year in June when folks didn't go to their own graduations or their kids' graduations. And it's really intended as a scare tactic, but I also believe it's trying to test the boundaries of what this president can do and get away with it. And as long as we don't speak up and continue to allow him to get away with it, he's going to keep pushing.
You brought up the economy. I do want to ask you about that. You talk about, the city's also in a budget shortfall right now. What types of economic impacts are you seeing? I know it can be hard to get specific numbers this early, but when you talk about ridership on Metro, I know tourism, it seems when I talk to people don't want to come here right now due to this type of thing. Do you have any data so far, or do you know what the economic impact has been?
We're still waiting for it to come in. Right now, it's just anecdotal. But as you mentioned, tourism is way down. The 3 countries where most people come from other places to come to Los Angeles are China, Canada, and Mexico. And under this administration, people are reasonably afraid to come. So that's a huge impact on our local economy. It's also a huge impact on our city's economy, right? Because so much of our income and the way we pay our bills comes from things like sales tax and hotel taxes and just tourism being here. And then in terms of the jobs, we don't have any hard data yet. We're waiting for that information from our CAO, but we expect to get it soon. And it's bad. Talking to business groups in Los Angeles, they're hearing from their members that it's really hard to get people to come to work reliably, and they're supporting people as they can, but this can't last much longer, and I think the Trump administration knows that and is counting on it.
Sure, and many people feel like it has lasted long enough in the fashion that it has been happening. What do you hope happens from this movement? And it seems like the Department of Homeland Security and ICE aren't changing the way that they are carrying out these raids. Are you hopeful that any of this changes?
Well, we've seen maybe a slight diminution in terms of the blatant recklessness of the behavior. It's still happening, though. A man was killed running away from ICE last week. He ran onto the freeway and was hit by a car and died. So we're still seeing some of it. It seems like it's happening slightly less frequently, but it's still happening. And any time it's happening, it's unacceptable. What we'd like to see is this Trump administration and ICE and Border Patrol follow the rules, follow the law. It's not too much to ask them to follow the Constitution. This isn't immigration enforcement. This is not public safety. It's not how we keep people safe in a democracy. And we expect them to follow the Ninth Circuit. And it's pending before the Supreme Court. We'll see if the Supreme Court takes it up. They may choose not to, in which case the Ninth Circuit ruling telling them to stop this behavior stands.
All right, Councilwoman, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you so much.